What secrets hides a 150-meter layer of sand in the Sahara? Using radar and images from space, the researchers were able to see what is at the bottom of the Earth's greatest sandy sea and experienced a real shock. In front of you is the bed of the most ancient river on the planet, Tamanrasset. And not just rivers, but a huge river system. The length of the main water artery is more than 500 kilometers. The drainage basin is the 12th in the world ranking. The river flows from east to west and is located on the territory of Morocco and Algeria under the sands of the Sahara Desert. The dry bed of Tamanrasset was discovered from space with the help of radars of the Japanese satellite ALOS. In 3D images, scientists accidentally noticed the smooth edges of ancient channels under the sands, enlarged and found the river. Suddenly, still wood. Even the scientists were surprised. Where does this huge river system come from in the Sahara? And this is not the only secret of the Sahara. In 2010, satellites once again delighted researchers by photographing more than 100 fortresses buried under the sands in Libya. And not far from Egypt, archaeologists have found the remains of whales. As you understand, no one expected to meet large marine mammals in the center of the hottest desert on Earth. Yes, even in huge quantities. The picture of scientific absurdity is complemented by rock paintings made in the Stone Age. And they are also located in the Sahara. However, see for yourself. Tassili Niger Plateau. The area is 72,000 square kilometers. Landscapes resemble a stone forest. Arches, caves, bizarre rocks. And all this is generously decorated with primitive painting. Yes, this is a real guide to the Stone Age, you say. Look how many different animals captured by ancient artists. What plants did they depict in their drawings? Wait a minute. It can't be you. For the last 5 or even 10,000 years, the Sahara has been absolutely uninhabitable. Sands, heat and not an ounce of water. And this is not an African apocalypse, as you might think. And Harmattan, the wind that blows from the Sahara towards the Atlantic Ocean from late November to early March. Sand fills up the entire coast, the Ghanaian islands, and sometimes reaches America. But we are interested in the dust that settles off the west coast of Africa. A deadly wind has been blowing for hundreds of thousands of years. Hundreds of millions of tons of Saharan dust end up on the seabed. Dozens of layers of sedimentary rocks will tell everything about the history of these places. This map shows ancient platforms. Scientists call them cratons. Translated from Greek, the firmament of the earth. Perhaps it was her who was once created by God, scattered all over the globe. These are the most ancient parts of the continents. They are more than 2 billion years old, and still the most stable. Whatever happens on the planet, the cratons still remain in their place. So if you want to stand firmly on the ground and feel the ground under your feet, go to Africa. Geophysicists explain the continental crust in these places reaches 45 kilometers. And the lithosphere can even reach up to 200. And as long as our planet is alive, the cratons cannot be moved. This is what truly is divine reliability. By the way, the age of the Sahara platform is almost 4 billion years. She told a lot. What caused the Earth to turn over? They will rear up in the very center and throw humanity out of paradise. The wrath of the gods, the curse of demons, or the sins of men. To answer this question, we have to go to Wadi al Haidan, the Valley of the Whales, which is located right in the middle of the Sahara. Egypt is not only camels, sphinxes, and pyramids. At the beginning of the 20th century, archaeologists discovered the remains of a 20-meter whale here, right in the middle of the desert. The area was named so, the Valley of the Whales. In front of you is an Archaeoceti, the extinct ancestor of modern beluga whales, killer whales and whales. As you know, whales are descended from artiodactyl animals. No, not pigs from horses, but hippos or hippos. This was finally irrevocably confirmed by studies of molecular genetics. That is, from land, the whales gradually went underwater. Archaeoceti found in the Sahara, the same transitional species. As an argument, the remains of marine animals that are still found here. Doesn't it seem strange to you that all the animals that lived in the warm Sahara puddle are giants? And not only huge prehistoric whales, but 1.5-meter squids and 12-meter sea snakes and giant alligators. Scientists attribute this to the effect of island gigantism. Say there was an island archipelago here in isolation, security and grown up. Pardon me, but not to the same size. Yes, they could not even move their paws in the conditions of terrestrial gravity. Doctor of Biological Sciences Valentin Sapone believes that the remains of these giant animals most likely belonged to very distant times, when the Earth was less than half and the force of gravity 8 times. Since then, the planet has grown, the size of its inhabitants has decreased, and the landscape has changed. Sounds incredible. We will contact the Institute of Physics of the Earth and ask a question. Could there be an ocean in place of the Sahara? It turns out yes. This fits into the modern scientific paradigm. The thing is, continents are constantly moving, and the face of the Earth is changing. And where there is land today, millions of years ago, there could well have been a sea. But how does such a metamorphosis take place? And through this crack, hot magma constantly rises from the Earth's mantle and comes out. And then it gets stuck, turns into a cork that pushes the tectonic plates in different directions. Continents are moving and the Earth's topography is changing. For millions of years, the continents have been swimming towards each other, connecting into one supercontinent, and then begin to separate into parts. This process has been going on non-stop since the formation of the Earth. Why are we talking about this, you ask? Yes, very simple. All of these supercontinents are made up of cratons, the oldest of the super powerful lands. Few cratons. And scientists know everything. Ancient platforms are the core of the continents today. But the African craton, covered by the sands of the Sahara, was the central site of all ancient supercontinents. He is the creation of the world and is still in the very center. The point of intersection of the equator and the prime meridian. In the center of the world. Why not heavenly Earth? Everything converges, but there is one but. The African ancient platform still went underwater. This happened after the last supercontinent Pangaea split into two, Gondwana and Laurasia. So geologists called the two formed continents. They were separated by the huge ocean Tethys. The Mediterranean, Black or Caspian seas are all that remains of Tethys. Moreover, shells and stones with algae prints on the peaks of the Alps, in the Himalayas and on the Pyrenees Peninsula. But most importantly, the Sahara Desert became the bottom of the Tethys Ocean. This means that not only whales, but also other marine mammals could live here. When the ocean dried up, their remains sank to the bottom, and only then they were covered with desert sand. Stop. Not docking. All found bones of whales lay on the surface and were not covered with sand. It looks like they were brought here much later. Perhaps in the same fateful millennium when people were expelled from the African paradise. What happened here 7,500 years ago? According to one version, it was at this time that the flood occurred on Earth. There is much more to discover and explore for ourselves. So subscribe to the channel, Write your opinion in the comments and we will definitely figure it out.